South Korea's U-20 World Cup squad made it to the semifinals at the 2023 competition and finished in a respectable fourth place. For more on the young Taeguk Warriors' journey to their future, we're joined by Mr. Steve Han. He's a football writer based in LA. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. How's it going?
Good. The South Korean team made it to the semifinals at the FIFA U-20 World Cup in Argentina and finished fourth in the competition. As an expert yourself, how would you evaluate their overall performance?
I think the most noteworthy element when it comes to an evaluation of how they performed at the tournament was their defensive style of play. This was a team under head coach Kim Unjung who got his players to concede possession of the ball, surprisingly, forcing the opposition to make a mistake and then hitting them in transition to score goals. And no knock in playing that way, by the way, especially when you can play this way and still be able to compete with the likes of France and Italy. But my question is, the under 20 level is an age group where players are supposed to be developed to potentially play for the senior national team one day. And over the last 5 years, we've heard from Paulo Bento before. We're hearing from Jurgen Klinsmann now. It's been made pretty loud and clear that the head coach of Korea's senior national team, before and now, they want Korea to play a more progressive brand of football instead of bunkering down and playing defensively. So as happy as I am to see a winning culture develop at the under 20 level for Korea, I'm also seeing a bit of a disconnect in what kind of teams and players that Korean football is developing at the grassroots level and what types of players are actually expected at the senior level.
That's a very good point. But surely the U-20, the under-20 group showed much hopes and excitement for the future Korean team, possibly on the global and national level. Now, South Korea has become the first Asian country to reach semifinals back-to-back U-20 World Cups, right? Now, what does it say about our young Taeguk Warriors at the moment?
Well, yeah. I mean, once again, there's absolutely no denying that the players have made an incredible achievement in 2019 and also in these past 3 weeks. And make no mistake about that. Mm-hmm. But now that you've brought up 2019, I can't stress enough that when you go back and look at the way that Korea played in that tournament as well, with an entirely different set of players, an entirely different set of coaching staff as well, they also played a very reactive style of football that was a lot similar to how they played this year. And the head coach in 2019, Jung Jong-young, and the head coach now, Kim Un-jung, these are two coaches who the KFA has invested years and years to develop as international level coaches. And the fact that there's a striking consistency in how these two coaches had their teams playing in 2019 and 4 years later this year, something tells me that this reactive style of football is here to stay at the grassroots level. So why and how the head coach of the senior national team continues to stress a different style of football, there's a bit of a concern for me there, because I still don't see a uniform way of playing across all age groups in Korean football. And that's something that we have to aspire to if we want to grow and develop into a country that can compete with the best in the world at the very top level.
Indeed, Steve. Now, we have to talk about the captain, Lee Seung-won, right? He led the team with 3 goals and 4 assists in 7 matches. Now, he won the bronze ball as the 3rd best player in the tournament. How significant is this?
It's very significant. There's no question about that. And from the standpoint of Lee Seung-won himself, and also from the standpoint of Korean football's ability to produce quality players at this level, at this particular level, under 20, it's critically significant and impressive. And Korea is the only country that has produced 2 golden, silver, or bronze ball winners in 2 consecutive times at the last 2 under-20 World Cups with Lee Gang-in and Lee Seung-won. So that's fascinating to me. But for a country with a reputation of qualifying for the World Cup at the senior level for the last 10 straight times, I also have to stress that Korea is one of the very few countries at this level that does not have a domestic league for players for under the age of 21. So there's the under 18 K League, and at the professional level in the K League, there's the under 22 rule. That's been a big factor in Korea producing some of the best players in Asia at the under 23 level. But in terms of securing opportunities for 19, 20, and 21-year-olds, there's nothing there. So it's not shocking to any of us to find out that Lee Seung-won, who was a standout player for Korea, for all his talents, he still has not played a single minute of professional football in his career yet, despite turning professional. So we can, but at the same time, we cannot force these professional football clubs to play 19, 20-year-old kids over these mid to late 20 players who are peaking in their career. So from an infrastructural standpoint, we can still do something to help these kids continue to develop their games. And the best way to do that is to give them the under 21 league at the club level so that these promising generation of players can continue to develop and get better.
Right. So much room for cultivate more young footballers and also to produce more opportunities and matches so that, like you said, to generate more promising young footballers, right?
Right.
Now,
and yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And how can participation, before we let you go, Steve, at the U-20 World Cup shape their careers, and also what can they look forward to, or what can we look forward to?
Yeah, it's going to be a while until we see this group of players play together at any level, unfortunately, because we have the Asian Games coming up, which is an under 24 level tournament that'll be held in September and October in China, which would have been a really nice opportunity to bring the core group of these players from this team to test them in an older age group competition. But unfortunately, it's too important for Korea to send older players to the Asian Games because there's the military exemption on the line for a lot of these older players. So the hope is to see some of these current under 20 players in the summer of next year, in 2024, where at least a few of them will have opportunities to compete for a place in the squad to play at the Olympics in Paris next year.
All right, Steve, thank you so much for your insights and constructive criticism on the young footballers this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, you have a good day. You too.